Good morning, everybody. Welcome to City Life. I'm Linda Bown. I'm your host, and I have Ralph Hogan, Greater Lowell Regional School Committeeman. And so we're going to talk about the regional school. He's from the Highlands. Been in multiple campaigns over the years. We've known each other a very long time. And so let me ask you, just before we get into the school, what do you think about this UN thing?
Okay, just to expand upon that, I just woke up.
I mean, about the city, they're going to be the pilot program for the UN, and they've been up in Toronto. They did it in Toronto, and now our council has gone up there, and they've been down here, the UN, and they're going to come in with all kinds of money with low interest loans.
Funding is always good on the surface as long as the commitment isn't for long-term funding. But in other words, something that will affect the city budget and therefore the tax rate. But in general, it's a great idea. I think it, goes to history. The Tsar of Russia wanted the engineers from Lowell to come to St. Petersburg. The history of Lowell, going back and being the first industrial city in America is pretty significant. And I really think the school should push it more.
Well, I'm excited about it. It's supposed to be a cultural thing with the art and of course Kerouac and Poe and all that, bring it all together. And you're right, there's a lot of history in Lowell. So I think they're going to Switzerland. I'm not sure when. We can ask Gary Belanger when he comes in. But to me, it's what the National Park did for Lowell years ago. It could be a real shot in the arm. I think that link program is amazing with the university and corporate and different getting involved in the acre. I just think that's incredible. That what the university is going to do there.
Well, it's got to improve from City Hall all the way to the river.
Yeah.
That's sort of the function or the focused area.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited about. Well, okay, Vogue. What's happening at the Vogue? I know it's summer, but
yeah, I mean,
the field house, is the field house done?
Yeah, it's done. They did a great job on it. I had some photos last year. I can get some more photos, but that's all done. Basically, maintenance. Believe it or not, take a guess how many miles a corridor. The corridors are, I don't know, 12, 16 feet wide or whatever. But guess how many miles there are?
2.
Okay, I'll give you ABC. 4, 5. Or 6 miles of corridor.
You're kidding me. Oh,
well, take another, pick one.
All of them, I'm going to say 5.
6.
6.
I looked at
That's
6
incredible.
miles. Wow.
That's a lot of walking.
Yeah,
you get your steps in there.
Yeah, but during the summer, the floors are stripped, cleaned, vacuumed, and then refinished. That's a lot of work.
I think Eric's doing a great job out there.
Yeah, the crew does a very good job.
Well,
Eric does too, but the crew does a very good job.
But it comes from the head. It comes from, if you have a good leader, then the work gets done. And I've been out there. I know they're doing a little addition to one of the shops.
The electric shop, we got a grant, and how do I put this one together? We got some modular classrooms constructed and put in a year or so ago. So now some of the classrooms in the school, the original building, can go into the modular building. The exact numbers of somewhere around 6 or 8. But that frees up space in the building. They're expanding and improving and updating the electrical shop.
Yes, I went out to see that.
I was out there recently, the other day, and Eric gave us a little tour of that area. The shop teachers, some of the electricians, some of the HVAC people, they're actually doing the install.
Yeah.
and, retrofitting. Contractors took walls and straightened that out, but the actual equipment is being put in by the staffs to save money.
Yeah.
And it's got to be state-of-the-art little labs to teach everybody at the school who's in that electrical shop all the basics. And, it's rather interesting, it's rather expensive, but they're doing a good job at moving the pieces around to make it more efficient and
I thought so.
pick up a little more room. We still have a problem with admissions and so on and so forth, but that's because the public and everybody has realized that a vocational education leads to employment and dineros, money in your hand.
What's the status of the lottery? I know the state wants to go have a lottery.
To the best of my, they did pass, the DESE or Department of Ed did pass it. But there's a little bit of, concern and pushback.
I hope so.
Oh, there should
I don't
be.
think it's going to do anybody any good.
Yeah,
I think that it's been pretty equitable when I've gone out there, but at the lottery, you could have, it's like a crapshoot. You can't tell what you're getting there.
okay, so
I mean, it has nothing to do with discipline, has nothing to do with,
John has a business,
yes.
right? He hires somebody to work for him.
Yeah,
If John, needs them at certain times, places, things to do, you expect them to be there on time, appropriately dressed, so on and so forth. They've been watering down the system at the Vogue School for a number of years. DESE now,
Yeah.
not the school,
Yeah.
but the state requirements. And what they do is they hold the money over your head. You either play ball or
Yeah.
you don't get the money. That's basically how it works. But lately, if a student assaults a teacher, another student, a faculty, anybody, it's a real serious infraction,
yeah.
they're still allowed to go into the lottery because we all have to have a shot in life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't want my wife or daughter or anybody subject to an assault, and somebody has to be held accountable. There's no consequences in life anymore.
I know. The Vogue, DESE drives me insane. What they have done, and particularly to the Vogue School, and discipline, and now this nonsense. This is total nonsense, and I don't know how much the school has to go by if it's a mandate or they can sort of do some of their own. But what the system they had, that if you had X number of absences, unexplained absences, or if you had disciplinary issues, then you lost points. And when you have that many kids applying, then you end up probably not on the list because a lot of kids most students don't have those problems.
Yeah, okay.
Discipline-
in general.
Yeah, I know the absenteeism is an issue, but I think that Lee has been here many, many times and explained that over and over, that just go to your faculty, go back to your junior high and have if they've been documented, make sure they're documented. That's all. You have
Some
notes
sort of nurse, doctor note
Yeah.
saying, cold, virus.
Yeah, whatever they had,
So, let me, I picked on poor John, but anybody who runs a little business, they need you to show up on time, do a decent day's work, and produce. I mean, that's business, that's work, that's
That's
life.
the real world.
Yeah. So, under the proposed system that they're working on, you can basically come in 4 days a week to school
Yeah.
and still be eligible for the lottery. In other words, someone going through grade school could have an atrocious attendance record
Yeah.
and still make it into the lottery under this latest proposal.
Well,
They watered down everything. It's not just, assaults and serious infractions. It's attendance.
Well,
And I'm a
yeah.
firm believer, if you're not in the seat, you can't learn.
Well, of course not. But is it, for teachers, from a teacher's point of view, you can't teach if you've got somebody disrupting your class. And it's one thing if I'm teaching history, and Ralph Hogan is just acting out. Unfortunately, what Desi wants is they just say, now, everybody, we can work with them. No, you can't. Some people you cannot work with. And it's not fair to the other 30 students that are in your class
Correct.
that aren't getting educated. Now, and that's just a history class. What do you do when they're playing with saws and electrical units and things that they could, knives and scissors and cosmetology, they can really hurt somebody
That's the point.
and themselves as well.
That's the point that, we've been trying to make, and I'm telling you, the administration, Desi, they have this idea that they know best.
Do you have any
Do you
recourse?
remember, do you remember back a few years, you were on the conservation, correct?
Still young.
Okay. Back a few years, a group of people got together, and they said that trapping of animals, beavers and fox and all, that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't do it. The farmers shouldn't do it, the hunters, so on and so, they can't, they're terrible. They went so far as put a vote on the ballot and advertise, oh, these poor animals. Okay, I'm a conservationist, I was on also. I think it's, good to be kind and charitable to animals. But when they banned the hunting and trapping of beaver, it was awful. You could not remove or trap a beaver, and the water that resulted in flooding to homes, it was statewide. The legislature had to step in and change the ruling
Yes.
because a small group of people got together and pushed this issue. Do you remember that?
Yes, I know, we still do.
And
We
it
still
wasn't fair to homeowners.
No, we still have issues. We have issues, well, because we have, fortunately, Derby is licensed to kill beaver and deal with them and on the conservation, he's chairman of conservation. Because it's such, our elementary school has a terrible problem with beavers out there. And if they don't do something, you're right, it floods everything. They've also, now, you know how everybody had to have a heart trap?
Okay.
Can't do that anymore. You can't displace an animal. Did you know that? You cannot take a chipmunk, if you're overrun with squirrels or chipmunks, or even skunks, people who get skunks or that are causing, in a small area, you can't put them in the forest.
Sometimes the best intentions don't work, and that was my point with the beaver. I don't think this is going to work well.
Yeah.
So, at the Volk School, attendance. What do you think our percentile is at the Volk School on a monthly type basis?
Ralph, knock off with the quiz.
Pardon me?
What is it?
It's over 95% on an average.
95% attendance.
On-
Excellent.
Yeah, but it is, John, it's really good. So why change a good recipe? If the kids are coming into school, if they're learning, if they're going out in whatever trade.
Well, Ralph, have you asked your
plumbing.
state reps to defund DESI? Hit them right in the wallet. And if you tell Rodney Elliott, Colin Gary, the Cowardly Lion, that would be Vanna Howard, and who's the other one?
In the Highlands, who replaced Ratty Mum?
Oh, yeah, Tara Hung,
Yes, Tara.
to defund DESI. Now, once DESI goes like, there's some state reps that want to defund us. How do we make them happy? We don't want to be PBS.
It's going to take something like that.
Well, that's what you got to do. Officially contact your state reps,
We have
defund
had-
DESI.
We have had
The
conversations.
same thing, Lowell School Department, you're doing Drake at School Department and Tewksbury School Department, they should all defund DESI. We know our children's needs, you don't.
It flies in the face of common sense when you look at how well we have students attending and learning at the school, and they want to change the formula and lower the standards. If you're a plumbing contractor, electrical contractor, whatever, you're looking for someone that has skills, that can do the job, shows up and completes the mission. You're not looking for a 4-day-a-week employee.
Or someone who comes in at noontime. Or someone who comes in at noontime. Oh, I'm sorry, I slept over. You missed the funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I slept over. We're not going to pay you. And that's when they get mad.
The threat to defund DESI is a good idea, but I don't think you got to get everybody to agree that that's the best approach.
Oh, really? Then we showcase those people.
That's a good point.
That's what social media is for.
That's a good
McDonough thinks DESI's doing a fine job. I didn't say that. Well, McDonough wants to continuously fund DESI. I didn't say that. Well, yeah, you did say that, McDonough. So you have to throw it out in the open. People don't like sunlight on their bad behavior.
Well, DESI got exposed during the pandemic with their outrageous mandates. That's when, because I don't think people were paying too much attention. They didn't realize they were there, or they just, I know I did. I thought school committees had more control than they do.
Okay, so, DESI puts their foot down, it's a problem. And the issue, I'm going to tell you really frankly and honestly, they control the money. And, they will penalize you if you don't follow their mandates.
And if they're not there, what will happen? You're still going to get your money.
I agree, basically, but...
You threatened to, you put a shot across the bow, threatened to defund them.
Well,
They'll all of a sudden turn on their hearing aid.
I think a shot is coming in the next couple of months.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take. The pandemic didn't seem to be a shot in the arm. I mean, everybody that was paying attention to what was happening to our kids in the school systems because of them and their outrageous rulings and mandates. Now to be doing, and I've heard, I mean, we all know teachers at the Voc, and they've all had issues about the discipline. There is no, and they used to, DESI won't allow in-house suspension. What kind of nonsense is that? Oh, let's send them out.
I believe that's in the academic school, Lowell and the rest of them. It's tough to bring a child into compliance or normalcy. If a child has a problem, let's work with them. Let's get them counseling. Let's bring them on and get them into the mainstream and educate them. But
That's what
you
public school is
can't
supposed to do.
water down everything. Sooner or later, I remember, as a kid, and I did something wrong. I ate a second pudding, and they were reserved for another function
Yeah.
at home. I had to pay the price. I was disciplined.
Well-
But nothing serious, but
No.
of course, the night that I didn't have my dessert, my brother sat across from me and,
Flaunted it.
he just went on and on with how good it was. But, you have to have discipline, although that may sound simple, and a kid getting disciplined at the table, but, that's life.
Respect, it isn't, it's respect, it's
Yes.
structure, it's civility, it's trying to, I said to my grandson, who's 6, he did something, I said that, and told him it was antisocial behavior. And so he's learned a new phrase. And God bless his poor sister, because now he's going to be telling everybody they they're exhibiting antisocial behavior. But that's what it is. We need to get back to that. We need to get back to respecting each other and civility. And it starts, unfortunately, with the legislators, and they don't respect each other. I don't think they respect themselves. This is nonsense. Politicians swearing at each other and carrying on and threatening, and if they lose, they stamp their feet and take their ball.
How much of this do you want to blame on the COVID shots we took? All this verbal violence that we see happening at meetings, we didn't have this 5 years ago.
No.
I think the COVID shot we all had to take, otherwise we were going to die. I think it's affected everybody, mentally and physically.
Well, the whole pandemic did. I mean, it.
But
it
the
put
shot,
everybody out of whack.
the shot we took, Linda, blind shot.
They didn't
I think it has affected, because when I watch public meetings and you see a person speaking all of a sudden go ballistic, hey buddy, you got the floor. What are you going ballistic for?
Right. I don't understand it.
And then you have the, yesterday I went to a hearing, Kim Scott's challenging the gal running against her for her, she doesn't have enough signatures. The signatures are invalid, okay? So I went down to listen to the challenge because I'd never seen such a thing. And at the end of the meeting, they said, we're going to delay the decision for a couple of weeks. Okay, that's cool. And some woman got up and she wanted to speak. The lawyer for the city wouldn't let the girl speak. And I'm there like, what the hell's the matter with you? That's rude. This girl come all the way down here. She wants to speak. Why not let her speak? Wouldn't let her speak. Shut the meeting down. He ended the meeting without letting her speak.
Did he have a reasoning? Was it time or?
Ralph, it was outright rude. Just
I'm with you.
outright rude. You get all dolled up, you get out of the meeting, and you get the like of somebody that's just as smart as Linda, not an elected official, puts their hand up, standing at the podium and goes, we're not going to let you speak. I thought it was rude, and I blame it on COVID. There are these characters that run the meetings, that volunteers doing the best they can. You can't shut people down. This is America. You got to let them talk. I mean, if they get up there teaching Nazism or something like, okay, you can shut them down. You're way off topic and shut their mic off. But they should have let this gal speak.
Give them a couple minutes and ask them to move on.
And so Sherry Barboza and Kim Scott, we'll find out the other end of the story in 2 weeks.
But no public input.
Not allowed.
Odd.
And it wasn't the chairman. It wasn't the. See, the last time I checked, I'll put the camera on me. You guys can sip your coffees. Last time I checked, the chairman is in charge of the meeting.
Yep.
It can be the chairwoman, chairman. I don't care. The chair's in charge of the meeting, not the hired gun, the lawyer. And they say, oh, he's the meeting official. I don't care. I don't care. The chair of the meeting should have let the woman speak. And the lawyer overruled everything.
Well, didn't
Lowell City Hall, embarrassing point last night. You need to choke up on the mic, Lynn. Go ahead.
Didn't Christine Scott always, Christine, what was her name? The lawyer that was dreadful.
O'Connor.
Christine O'Connor. She ran meetings all the time. She jumped up and spoke about everything.
It's not okay.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, why are we electing officials if they're not in charge?
Because even Phil Nyman would tell me, John, I'm working for you. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I said, well, looking for advice, Phil. What avenues? I can give you avenues you can get down, but ultimately, you're going to tell me what street we're going down.
Yeah.
I'm working for you. And the chair of the meeting, you've been chairs. Both of you people have been chairs. Are you in charge of the meeting or is the lawyer?
The chair runs the meeting according to parliamentary procedure.
Well, but even in all kinds of meetings, that the angst, the anger that comes out, the hostility. It's just, you used to work, we've been on committees all our lives on different things, and I never had a situation that I could disagree with them, like on conservation. There's a guy.
Could it be that the school system is breaking down a bit and they're not getting the same discipline and logical, straightforward?
Well, Linda, who teaches, like, I learned all about how to be in a board on a YouTube from the Secretary of State. And I learned that, okay, if you're a board of director and the company goes bankrupt, it's your fault. It's your fault the company went bankrupt. It's not the lawyer's fault. The board of directors have a responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's the chairman's job is to let everybody talk. And that's the way it should go. And it doesn't. Where did you learn to be on the board? To be on a board? Did you take any training? Hey, Corey, how are you? There's coffee over there if you like, and then sit down. Join the group at the table, please.
I think there were seminars. It was so long
How about
ago.
you, Ralph? Where did you learn to be on the board?
When I volunteered for the conservation years ago, they sent you to a seminar. When I was in high school, we had debating classes and public speaking, and you learned all about
We don't
parliamentary
have,
Corey, you can sit right
procedure.
next to
we don't
Ralph.
have civics anymore.
When you're
Civics
ready.
isn't allowed. And we don't teach that anymore.
Really?
It's just, well, that's what I mean. What are we doing here? What are we doing? And again, you talk about, it goes to the order. If you don't have discipline in school.
Well, also the appointing authority. How did you get on the board? Were you appointed by a bureaucrat, or were you elected to the board? I think an elected board has more authority, in my mind, than an appointed board.
Yes.
And the cities and towns have seemed to have lost their way. They want to be in charge. So, well, look at you're on this committee. You've been appointed by the town manager, and so you take direction from the town manager. That's not how it works.
No.
You're not supposed to take direction from the town manager. You're supposed to take direction from your own head.
Logic
Well,
and,
tell me if I'm wrong.
No, conservation, over the years, we've had the selectmen try to usurp the power, or try to run us over. And you go to the hearings, but you go before them, and at least you have a chance to make your, and they really don't. And of course, conservation is unique in that you have a little more power as far as the Wetlands Act and different things like that. So you can do something. However, if you do something and you break the laws there, we can call you in, have a hearing, and say we're going to fine you $300 a day. We can't collect it.
It's
There's a little loophole there. We can't collect any of that.
It goes back to John's friend, the lawyer has to go into court and enforce it.
No, they've taken that power away from them. The DEP can. That's why anybody that is obnoxious, as far as I'm concerned, just send them right over to DEP.
And it becomes a very expensive problem.
It sure does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You would know that. So, I have no problem with that. And I will try to work with people, and say that, Oh, no, we know. Okay, good luck.
I know of a situation where this developer was putting up condos or apartments. Actually, it was an apartment building. And he puts a pool in the backyard. Then the next year, after the summer has passed, he puts another building where the pool was and fills in conservation and puts another pool in. He had done this several times. And I think it was a state rep was pushing the conservation. What are you doing? There's flooding. The neighbors are getting flooded. And after an investigation with the state rep and everybody else about the water problem, turns out the lawyer for the municipality was living in the condo or in the apartment building that
Well, see, they didn't take their conflict of interest course.
he left shortly thereafter, but that actually happened.
Oh,
They
it
weren't-
doesn't
They were
surprise
not
me.
enforcing the
Yeah.
law.
Yeah, I saw that in Tewksbury before, in the 70s, we had a real problem with it. And when you see a developer blasting for the foundation, where do you think he's putting the septic system?
When you say blasting, are you in stone?
In ledge.
That's a very expensive
I know.
septic system.
I know. And
Isn't-
then they have then supposedly what they do is have a contained septic system. They have to blast for that as well.
That's,
And then when you have a contained septic system, then you have pumps. And if you have an electrical failure, if the power goes out, your pump doesn't work for your septic system. And I feel bad. People come into the town, they think there's sewage everywhere.
no.
And it will never be up on the hill, Scribner Hill. It's just, not in my lifetime anyway, will they have sewage, town
Somebody
sewage.
just told me, oh yeah, Tingsboro's getting surge and, Drakett's providing the hookup. And I'm thinking to myself, they have to cross the Merrimack River to do the whole town.
No, Chelmsford, they do it.
Okay, they go to Chelmsford,
Yeah,
okay.
Chelmsford does it.
But to go to Drake,
But we have, well, they did, yeah.
Well, it's all going to Duck Island, so all of Tingsboro is going to go to Duck Island now?
But you talking about the river, they did that. When going up Middlesex Road, that's exactly what they did, phase 3. They put the sewage going under
under the bridge? Expensive.
oh, of course it's expensive. But I'll tell you, they're able to develop now up Middlesex Road. You're seeing a lot happening up in Middlesex Road.
Yeah.
That's because they have sewage now.
From
Yeah,
Middlesex
but
Road to
hold
Route 3.
on, hold on. Last time I checked, Duck Island's at capacity. And having more construction is just sending more wastewater to Duck Island that's already at capacity. How is it that, does Duck Island tell the town of Tewksbury you can't build any more houses because we have no capacity for your storage?
Well, we've already paid, we even paid Chelmsford.
Chelmsford just sends it to Lowell.
Yeah, we've already we've met our limit, I do believe now, in Tingsboro. But they also, I think they freed up some area when they, the stormwater, when they made them separate sewage from rainwater.
Like one of my brothers-in-laws always, you know enough to be dangerous. But last time I checked, we're at capacity. We don't have any more room. And to let a third district, because Tingsboro's sending their stuff to Drake, and they're sending their wastewater to Chelmsford. And is Chelmsford telling Lowell, hey, you know what? We got another million gallons or
Oh, yeah,
20 million gallons coming from Tingsboro.
that's all set up ahead of time.
I think there's some missing blocks here, Linda.
Well, I'm curious what's happening with Dunstable, because I think Dunstable might be getting some.
So if you could just go back from the bridge to Route 3, as you're heading out to Dunstable, on the left-hand side, there's a lot of development behind, what is that, town bonds or town?
Oh, well, those are storage. That's going to be storage.
But
That's
but there's
storage.
a lot of construction off to the right-hand side
Yeah.
in the back. What is that?
That's Brock's. That's going to be storage. Storage. There's not going to be any.
That large?
Yeah? Oh, what do you think,
Well,
they're
I'm
right
just-
on Route 3. It's very good for them to like, the Amazons of the world. Where do you think they go?
It's a pretty,
Target.
there's a parking lot there too.
Well, the park and ride. They expanded
Yes.
that a little bit as well, and that. And then the state came in, and the state decided, in their infinite wisdom, that we had to put sidewalks and a bike lane to the highway. But of course, you can't take your bike on the highway, and you really shouldn't take your bike on the highway. But there's a sidewalk going to the highway and the bike lane goes to Dunstable line, and then you'd kill yourself if you tried to go down through Dunstable on a bike. So I don't, I don't understand sometimes that and millions of dollars they spend doing these things.
Have you,
Bike lanes to nowhere.
well, have you tried to drive that, what is that road? Going to Dunstable Road?
Kendall Road, 113.
Okay, 1:30. Have you tried driving that at, I don't know, 6:30 to 8 in the morning, or
Tell us your
4 to
experience.
5?
Tell us your experience.
It's unbelievable. It's incredible.
It's smooth, or it's busy, or there's too many bikes?
Traffic, it's just incredible. And they're not dawdling along, they're moving at a big clip for an old
Yeah.
state road.
Well, and we end up with traffic issues, obviously, at the bridge here, coming down 113, whether they're coming out of New Hampshire to go to Route 3, or they're coming out of Groton, Littleton, that whole area, down 113.
Yeah, they can't be coming out of Dunstable, because I don't think anybody lives there. I mean,
Oh,
it's
it's
very low population.
Well, it's not anymore, it's getting there.
Is it?
Dunstable, my brother Mark lives out there. They're doing all right.
Yeah, they just put some affordable housing in there.
Really? They're coming up in the world.
Yes, they are.
That's
right-
good.
Right by McGovern's farm. On the right, so, yeah.
A comment from the audience. Good morning. I missed yesterday's program. I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Hoey. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, Bobby Hoey's much improved. He's down at Spalding Rehab down in Boston, in the Charlestown section of Boston, and he's doing fabulous.
Good.
Good.
We saw him on
Everybody's
Monday.
happy to hear that.
Yes, thank you. Back to you, Lynn.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's
So
on
I
the
think
mend.
Corey is here. Are you going to join us, Corey? Are you doing your messages? Whatever are you doing over there? Councilor Corey Belanger has joined us.
Good morning.
Always good to see
Oh,
you.
my.
Likewise. Ralph, good to see you.
Always a
Is that your
pleasure.
coffee, Ralph?
No,
Okay.
Somebody left,
Oh, okay.
put it in the lost and found here.
Okay. Is your mic on? Okay. We're ready to
Yes,
go.
I think we're good to go. Good morning, everybody. Morning to the
morning.
viewers
Oh,
at
you have a
home
nice
on this
tan. You
beautiful
must be.
day.
Is that from
Well,
going
you
door
got
to
away.
door?
I got away Sunday and Monday and last week out canvassing. Yeah, so took a little couple-day reprieve.
Show your signs going up. There's a ton of them going up. Good
Yep,
for you.
signs are kind of going fast and furious out there. The more I put out, the more requests I get, so it's a good sign.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, you had good luck with your town meeting.
Yes, the town hall's back in early June. It was very successful, yeah.
So, now what did you learn from that? Have you gone out, have you changed your feelings or ideas?
Well, I got new ideas, Linda. I can
Okay.
tell you that. That was the logic behind it, to get the feedback from the constituent base, what's going on in their neighborhoods, and, lots of good ideas. Lots of good ideas on our parks and open spaces, speeding in the neighborhoods, which we remedied a lot of that, and still
Yeah.
working on some streets at the same time. So it was great feedback, and it's a good forum. In this at-large system, the district system, right? This is the third election, but it was the first town hall that any district council has ever had in the city under
Yeah.
the new district system. So it was very successful. You got to come ready, you got to come prepared, because you don't know what you're going to get,
Yeah.
And but it was I like to think I'm always prepared. I'm always ready for the tough questions, and it went very well.
So are your issues down out 38? Is that an issue?
Yeah,
Traffic and
Douglas
building?
Road, the flooding issues, which are
You
being
fixed that,
remedied.
right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's being remedied as we speak, yeah. 38, not so much that corridor, no, a lot of Andover Street, Douglas Road, Clark, we're working. Andover Street's it's just tough, it's a state road. We can't do blinking lights, we can't do stop signs, you can't do islands in the middle. We're very restricted on what we can do. So that's a tough one. So it doesn't mean we can't do anything, but engineers, I just had a motion last night to look at Andover and Clark. We just had another pretty bad accident there, in that intersection. So I want the engineer to look at it, see what can be done,
Yeah.
But we're up against on that street. It's very busy, and, you know, again, it's state. Anything we do needs to go through Mass DOT.
Who maintains the road? The state or the
The
city?
state, yep.
State.
We do the patchwork and the potholes, for instance.
And you
know.
plow it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So if you have any kind of flooding issues, that's sort of
Yep.
not fair.
I hear you.
All this stuff will go away if you do electronic ticketing. It'll be the end of it. Done. No more speeding. You have that little thing that says your speed is this, and when it's blinking, you get a ticket.
Yeah, I got those going on a few streets, right there.
And all they are is little cartoon characters, because they don't do anything. on the
Well, they
city road.
gather data, not that, you know, they get the average mile per hour. So, you know, it does have some value in it, but it doesn't electronic ticket like you're talking, McD, but you know,
Well,
it's not a bad idea.
If
A rail car, yeah,
we
right.
told our state reps that we need a law to do electronic ticketing in Lowell as a pilot program, that will give us a ton of money. They're doing it in Maryland. I'll tell you, when it comes up one ways and you're driving through Maryland, traffic camera ahead, you're doing 65.
Really?
Everybody is.
Wow, that's interesting.
Traffic camera ahead, we're all doing 65. We were all just doing 80.
That's
Well,
interesting.
I don't know if the technology, well, it sounds like the technology's there, but I don't know if we have it in-house or
Corey, just
statewide, but,
think about the license plate readers that we already have that we ignore, okay?
yeah, we do have
License plate.
those, yeah, okay.
And we ignore that because there's too much data. There's too many people to arrest. And I can understand that. And when you go on the highway, there's no more toll takers. They read your front license plate, your
Yep,
back
that's it,
license
yeah.
plate, you get a bill in the mail, and it knows how fast you're going. It knows where you live.
Yes, it does.
But
That's
you
why I
know
think
what,
it's time we
John?
do electronic
All
ticketing.
right,
You still have to deal with some, Easy Pass, I'm going up for my third time. My license plate is just Q2L. How can you mess that up?
Do you have it on front and back?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's been Q2Z, L2, they just can't get three letters together, a number and two letters together. And I end up getting I have a Easy Pass. I keep getting tickets because they keep putting the wrong, and I go up with my little registration and I show them, and third time.
You got
Wow.
a Mass?
See, in McD.
No, I got
Or
mine in New Hampshire.
Okay, New Hampshire gives you better service than Mass.
Yes, but, well, they're doing their best to copy us. They're trying really hard.
Oh, they're hiring incompetents?
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Very nice people, don't get me wrong, very pleasant. And I write it out and I say, do you see the problem here? Here's my little, I even bring my pass in. Oh, yeah, you shouldn't get a
Do
ticket.
you know you can go online and fix a lot of the stuff yourself?
Oh, God, if
I'm just asking the question. If you don't like doing that, I respect that too.
I'm not that good online.
Mm-hmm.
I always think that's gonna, but you're probably right now. If it doesn't, I'm going up again today. If I can't get it straight.
Because we even take, and we'll create a test. If somebody wants to borrow a speed pass because they're going to Canada, we just give them the speed pass, put their car on the legend that the state has, and bam, but it's all through New Hampshire. Because New Hampshire, the bargain there is you get 1/3 off on your tolls. If you buy a speed pass from Mass, and it says it's a $1 toll, cool, they're collecting $1 off you. You get a New Hampshire speed pass, and it's a $1 toll in New Hampshire, you pay 75 cents.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I have
What a
mine in
bargain.
New Hampshire.
Well, hey, it's mouse
Just
up.
because the idea of, did you get a notice about the new license now? They're really getting serious now. You're going to have to, they're putting their foot down. Everybody has to have a real license.
I got
Yeah.
one, I got it.
A real ID. All it is a star on your existing license, right? It's not a new
Well, I got
document,
mine
but, yeah.
years. I got mine during the pandemic, but then to renew it this past year, it took me 2.5 months.
Wow.
And one of the issues is a lot of people driving without licenses because they can't get appointments. And then I went in, it was 3 hours, 4 hours.
Well, I have to return a license plate today, so I guess I'll be adventuring down to the Lowell Registry of Motor Vehicles and spending the morning there to turn in a license plate.
Who just extended
Yeah.
their contract another year, by the way. They won't be,
Are they still paying zero?
no, they're not paying zero. Where'd you hear that?
City council meeting. How much are they paying?
About 35, I think 3,500 a month, 4,000, in that
Good.
range,
I'm
yeah.
glad we collected some
Yeah,
dough.
yeah.
Because the deal was to move in there, my memory, your memory's sharper than mine. To move in there, they paid zippity-doo-dah. Zero.
Is this on Middlesex?
Yep,
The
in the
registered motor
garage, yeah.
vehicles
State.
are
The
in the
state.
parking garage.
Yep.
My memory is, but Corey, what does your memory say? Did they pay 3,500 from day one? I don't,
I'm not sure. I didn't go far that back. It just, we were notified they're going to extend another year before.
good. Good
Evidently they
location,
don't-
plenty of parking, we all know where it is.
Yep.
Stay there.
Yeah, we need it. It's a good convenience for the residents, so we'd like to hang on to it if possible.
Beautiful. So how did,
every-
oh my, getting a brain cramp. The guy, the video of the,
Oh.
Bishop
Dave-
Markham. How did Bishop
Prestipino.
Markham, yeah. David Prestipino, yes. How
Yep,
did he
Dave
do?
Prestipino, who I know well, I've known him over the years. Did you happen to see the video?
I was at Monday Night Dinner Club. We were up at the Sweetheart Inn, a delicious stop in
Okay,
Methuen.
Yeah.
Good time up there. But listening to you.
Well, the video, he videoed himself going into Bishop Markham. We went up and down the side staircase, looked at all the security doors and around, and then the homeless population around and all the services, and it was very revealing. It's not, I mean, it's not, look, we all know homelessness and addictions out there, but this really got into the weeds in areas that you wouldn't normally see. He went up and down the back staircase of Bishop Markham where there was urine and feces and trash and needles and the back staircase.
Inside Bishop Markham.
Inside, yeah. So, we were a little disturbed, there's no doubt. I'm a district councilor, but we represent these folks too. And we made it clear we want something done about it. So the manager has to sit down with the housing, come up with a plan. Now, we've done a good job cleaning up South Common. But what's happening is the outreach workers, the police officers are doing their sweeps typically in the daylight, in the daytime. And these people know, from what I hear, the boots on the ground that I speak to, say that this population knows that nights, after 3, 4 o'clock, everyone's gone home and you're not going to be disturbed. So they come right back in and they try to get into Bishop Markham. Apparently there's a number of, there's dealing going on inside Bishop Markham, and they're trying to get in there. One woman claims to be assaulted.
Oh, wait.
it's-
Don't you have a satellite there?
Yes.
Come on.
That's what we asked about staffing, so we're going to get a report back as to what the hell's going on there. But we're spending a lot of resources there, Linda. It's cleaned up tremendously. And back to the point where, during the day, there's walkers, there's families with strollers using the park again. It's been reclaimed,
Okay.
so to speak. But again, it's the night where, this population knows that there's no one around. And,
Don't they lock the
yeah,
doors?
they're waiting, they're barging up, they're hitting buzzers, hopefully somebody buzzes them in. As soon as someone comes out, they're walking right in, so they're getting in.
Here's South Common Park live as we speak this morning.
LPD right there,
And so are the homeless.
here they
Sleeping
are,
on the
see they come
carpet.
in there, it's a vicious cycle. LPD and the clinicians get there during the day, remove them, but they come back at night. And so I propose to the manager that, work with LPD and the Lowell Housing Authority to stagger these hours that these people work. It may cost us a little more in overtime, whatever it may be, but you got to get there on nights and weekends too. To keep them moving and again, the number is just very, very disappointing of the number of people that, the manager did have a good number in the last approximate 6 months. They got about 35 people into rehab, okay?
Yeah.
We'll take it. However, there's hundreds more who are saying no. They don't want to use it. There was empty beds in the shelter on a nightly basis, and that's where they'd rather sleep.
Well, the courts aren't going to support you either.
No, I'm about to get to that, okay? So they'd rather sack right out there at Fort Hill Park so they can do what they want to do, if you know what I mean, drugs, alcohol, freelance around, where in the shelter they cannot, they're limited. So, you know, we've had enough. You know, if you come here, you know, and again, many statistics just last night showed again, many not even from Lowell. You know, you come here, you don't want help, perhaps we're not the city for you. You know, we're going to offer you services. We got 35, the manager divulged last night, I didn't know this, between clinicians and PD officers, Lowell Fire Department, 35 full-time outreach workers fixated on this issue. Homelessness, addiction, mental health,
Okay,
costing the taxpayer plenty. So we're doing our fair share.
yeah.
But it's only effective, Linda, when they accept help. Am I right? And those that do, great. Okay, we'll get you to a better place, but you need to want to help yourself. And,
Okay, let's stop right there.
shoot,
Then what? I say, no, I don't, I'm not interested, and I know that the laws have to change.
They have.
Exactly.
Executive order
Yep.
from the President of the United States. If they don't want to go, you can take them.
Yes,
That's
you've got to do
Brand
that,
spanking
or you're
new.
never going to fix it.
you know, I'm open to that now, McDee. I've been dealing with this issue. I was appointed chairman of the opioid task force in 2014. I've been watching this carnage for far too long, and I'm frustrated, as you can see.
Yeah.
Okay, the young people dying, you know, it's not an individual disease. It is destroying everyone around them and everything around them.
The families,
People,
awful.
apartment buildings, small businesses, economy, literally our downtown economy has been almost completely destroyed because of this issue alone. Now, a lot of downtowns are struck, don't get me wrong, but this has really, really hurt us. I know, I've lived it. No one's telling me different. I was a downtown businessman 15 years. I know what I'm talking about. So it's frustrating. Again, you know, we've lost, 100,000 a year nationwide on this, and we're still playing games. It's very frustrating to see it still exist, these problems still persist while the fatal overdoses have gone down, okay? We used to average about 100 some odd a year in Lowell, and it's dramatically down, about half, less than half, which is great. That's why the opioid task force was established. It was comprised of clinicians and all.
Well, wait, you say it's great, but it's just prolonging it.
Well,
You know,
the
so
fatal.
they don't die today, they die
Yeah, right,
next
right.
week.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that fatal dose could be tomorrow. Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. No, I hear you. The numbers in the last couple of years have been declining, though. But, I mean, look at the amount of people that have died, too, you know?
they're not becoming citizens that they can function
Exactly.
in society.
Well, that's where we're not getting help. Now, you had mentioned now, okay, clinicians show up, like this morning right there, thank you for that footage, McDade, you need help. No, I don't want to go, okay. Well, they get their identity, if there's an outstanding warrant, we take them in. But you know what? Right back out in the street 3 hours later. That's no exaggeration. The courts are not helping us. We need help, okay? I appreciate what judges and the courts do. It's a difficult job. However, releasing these people back out to the public when they're right in front of you, they're sick, they're diseased. You can't see that, and to let them right back out in the street is frustrating.
If they can't, and they can't help themselves in many situations, they're just not, as you say, there. They're going. It's like letting them commit suicide.
It really is. They're dying a slow death, and
It's genocide
it's.
of a certain population.
So what we need to do is, we discussed a multi-pronged approach. The manager needs to continue conversations with the delegation to open up things like Tewksbury State Hospital, mental health facility. That's why it was created. Mental health is a big part of this issue.
Please
Okay,
remember the sheriff has 600 empty.
600, I was getting to that, 600 empty beds at Barica. Now, I don't want to put, a jail cell isn't gonna, they need therapy, treatment, training, all kinds of stuff.
We'll just rename the building Paradise. We won't call it a jail, we'll call it Paradise.
That's what it takes.
You're gonna be in the Paradise Building in Bill Ricker.
Something's got to break here. Something has to break, because I'm
Rename
tired
the
of
building.
watching businesses close. We just lost the Keep on Gorham Street, a wonderful, with the best food, service, wonderful reputation, and completely destroyed because of this issue. So, go ahead, Ralph.
Just expand upon, I know you know what you're talking about. That's not the point.
By all
But
means.
if you could just enlighten me more and the people watching.
Sure.
What happened to affect the Keep? You know what I mean? If you could just give a little detail.
Yeah. What happens was their customers were aggressively accosted, Ralph, and going in,
Tell you
out.
guys my experience. We went down to Keep. I went down there with my wife and my sister-in-law. And I told the Dixie chicks, listen, don't bring your pocketbook. We're just gonna go down there, eat, and we'll have a good time. We went down there, food was great, drinks were great, had a blast. Walk into the car, not two homeless people, two kids on bikes come around the corner, and they're after my wife's pocketbook and my sister-in-law's pocketbook, which they didn't have. And when they realized, oh, they don't have their pocketbooks, they used the magical F word on them because they didn't have their pocketbooks, and they rode away on their bikes. These were not homeless people. These were little punks from the neighborhood. And
That's wrong.
So when you're
Absolutely.
leaving, so what's it going to take for you and your wife to go back there when that happens to you?
Uh-huh.
And I was
You know,
right
that-
next door to the
yeah.
place.
There's so many instances where people never went back. You see on their social media page, to Keep, great food, great, but I'm not going back. I was accosted, aggressively panhandled, followed to my car.
Well, Linda won't eat in downtown Lowell. Linda, tell them your story, downtown Lowell. What happened to you?
I went to the Athenian Corner and on the Monday Dinner Club.
Yeah.
George was parked in front of me, and I was walking to my car, and a gentleman, as soon as I got in my car, started banging my window.
Yep.
Now, my
Not
answer was
surprised.
to put the gun to the window and say, "Do you want to talk to me?"
And he went away?
He did very quickly. But I shouldn't have to do that.
No,
I
correct.
don't want to do that. And so rather than do that, have to carry a gun with me, I don't come.
Yep.
Have we
And I
become,
like this. Huh?
have we become too liberal, too progressive?
Of course we have.
I mean,
Well, the courts are
I
not
see it at
putting
the
these people in
schools.
jail.
Yep.
Mr. Belanger has seen it since 214, I think
Yeah,
he said.
yeah. Well over 10 years, Ralph.
You know.
They have rights.
When does society, yeah, but.
When does
time out,
society have
time out.
rights?
Let's go back to the democracy in the beginning with Greece. Back in Greece, many centuries ago,
30 seconds.
ostracization is the answer. And that's what the hospital would do, that's what
Yeah.
the jails would do. You know, the rights of the few should not overpower the rights of the many.
We don't have any expectation.
And that's kind of what's
of
going on,
behavior.
Ralph. That's
Well-
kind of what's going on.
Yeah, I see it in the school systems with DESI.
But I want the
They're
residents to
catering
know
a small
that.
group.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll be right back. Going to break.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And that's what the hospitals do, that's what the jails do. You know, the rights of the few should not. I see it in the school systems with DESI. I want the residents to know that.
Welcome back to City Life. I'm Linda Bown. There's a tree, but we're here. I'm Linda Bown. I'm your host. I have Ralph Hogan from the Greater Lowell Regional School Committee and Councilor Belanger. In the first hour, we were talking about, a lot of it comes down to discipline and what we expect in society and what has happened to society and the antisocial behavior that's accepted. And I'm going to just kind of get away from that because it's sort of a negative thing and depressing.
No, right, no, we talked about enough, Linda, but I'm tired of talking, it's time for
Yeah,
action.
yes.
I'm frustrated, I'm PO'd, much like my colleagues.
And
we gotta get
it
some-
goes to the court
Yeah.
systems, and somehow I guess you'll deal with your legislators. Now,
Yeah.
Lowell and this whole UN proposal, for anybody that isn't familiar with it, just give it a capsule.
Yes, well, Lowell was officially designated the first front-runner city in the United States, Linda. It is very, very exciting stuff. That's going to consist of development, in particular our urban renewal areas, the MBTA zone, the Hamilton Canal, the courthouses that are ripe for development, and you're going to see sustainable, inclusive housing and commerce and amenities. They want to build neighborhoods. They make it perfectly clear, we don't just do housing. Okay, we want everything, all the gamut in housing from very low income all the way to market rate. It includes the whole gamut of housing and amenities. And it was just what we saw, and that's why we went to Toronto last November to see an example of this. Called Regent Park. It's a suburb of Toronto. And it's about a 15, 16-acre parcel that they developed with the housing and all the amenities. It's got libraries, indoor aquatic center, community centers, services, and the housing just phenomenal. So that's what we're looking to do here in Lowell. And so we're very honored to have that designation. And in just a few weeks, much of the council will be going to Geneva, Switzerland, to be formally, to the United Nations headquarters, to be officially introduced as Lowell as the first front-runner city in the United States. And from there, they will go over the parameters of how this is going to work with developments and banking and all that, how this is all going to play out. So it's exciting stuff. I won't be making it, unfortunately. It's killing me. But I'm in the midst of a very heated election, and I don't think it's appropriate I take off for 5-6 days
Well, I was gonna
at
ask you
this
how long
time.
are they gonna
And
be?
I'll be 2 weeks from a primary. I just can't do it, and it's the timing. It's killing me. But I don't think it's an appropriate time for me to go. So I'm going to stay back, put my trust and faith in my colleagues, and count on their feedback. But nonetheless, exciting stuff. But what this matters to, your average resident is that, you're going to see development. That doesn't mean we're going to be encroaching on neighborhoods now. We're going to be
Well, I was just
essentially.
going to ask you that.
Yeah.
You take things by eminent domain. What do you do? How
No,
do you
we
do
have
that?
many parcels shovel-ready, Linda, identified in the Hamilton Canal, the MBTA zone, that's being rezoned to identify parcels. I think eminent domain would be very scarce, if at all.
Okay.
So we're shovel-ready, we've identified, so we're way ahead of the curve there. Where Regent Park in Toronto was a 10, 15-year plan. They started from a swath of just open land, practically, and old industrial buildings. They had to start from scratch. We're ahead of that curve. So we hope to see a pavilion headquarters, if you will, on the project break ground within 10, 12 months in the city.
Has our issue been because the economy, the loans were too high, the interest rates?
That's exactly. Now, every mid-size, including Boston, as far as development's at a stalemate. Remember, we used to go into Boston, pre-COVID, see all those cranes in the air? They're almost non-existent, and that's Boston. So where do you think the mid-sized city like Lowell and stand? It's not good. 2 reasons, largely, the interest rate, which they've been stubborn, they don't want to bring them down for whatever reason, I have no idea. I
have
watch
no
the
idea.
economy closely. I don't get it. I think it's politics that are injected, and you want my honest opinion, but that's neither here nor there. The interest rates are too high, and the construction costs are huge.
Because you can't,
You can't, it's not
do it.
feasible, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have to offer, and the taxpayers get upset, why are we giving tax breaks? This is what we have to do. If we want to attract companies, housing, it's everyone's, believe me, unless you're Boston, Cambridge, bucking the trend, so to speak, because they got, they're Boston, but this is but that's going to change. Now, what you're going to see is large-scale development, again, on our gateways, urban renewal areas, empty swaths of land. They're going to be converted to housing and amenities, all taxable, Linda. That's what I want to make clear, including the link to go in sync with the Link project.
I love that project.
It is enormous, yeah. When the delegation from UN came in town in early July, we finished off on Wednesday with President Meehan, Chancellor Julie Chen at UMass Lowell for a Link presentation. And I was just watching the UN delegate looks on their faces. They're like, what? They're like, right then and there, I knew we had them. They know they're in the right place. To see all that innovation, that research and development, that's part of what they want to do as well. So that just made them ecstatic to be here in Lowell. So that they're our good friends, they're our good partners. But forever we heard, Linda, on this show we discuss UMass Lowell taking this property, taking that,
Yeah.
right, Ralph? And it's all true. They've taken off the tax rolls, they've grown exponentially.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
It has been.
Budgetary.
Right, budgetary, yes. However, all this Link project, all taxable.
Yeah.
Commercial, all taxable,
That's
along with
amazing.
all this property that it's going to be huge for the taxpayers. So that's the message I'm trying to convey to my constituents in Belvedere, all the while I preserve single-family zoning and protect
Well,
that.
there's an issue, particularly in your district.
Yes. Well, there's an attempt to create housing, and part of that includes being intrusive on single-family zoning. I'm not standing for that at all, okay? I protect single-family zoning at all costs. If you want to convert a single to a multi, there's a thing called the zoning board, the planning board.
And you were
go
on
in
the
front
Board
them.
of Appeals.
I was. I had 10 years' experience, and that's going to come into play heavily. And that's what I'm campaigning on. But largely, why this matters, why the average homeowner tax base should be interested in this, because the tax base is going to soar. And that comes at a time where we got the high school debt, the sewer, water and sewer separation project, 200-something million. So we've got a lot of debt on the high school, yearly capital projects, and the sewer separation, unfunded mandate by the federal government,
By the federal-
right?
stormwater.
Slap it on us, say we got to do this. Yeah, thank you.
Every community has gotten that.
Exactly. So it's going to come at a time where, we'd have to rely heavily on the homeowners, and it would not be good. So this is going to be great. It's going to ease the burden on the homeowner, and that's the message I'm trying to convey to my constituents in Belvedere, that you need to get engaged. I'm pushing this. I want you to input sessions. It's going to be in the neighborhood group meetings. So you're involved with input, what's going to happen in our city. They want community, and this is one thing the UN wants, community engagement. And my district's very engaged,
Yeah.
okay? So
Wow.
believe me, I'm a busy guy, which is good. So very exciting stuff, Linda, in the coming months and years. But the tax base is what I'm very excited about. That's going to grow. And again, we're bucking the trend here in Lowell. We're normally, any mid-sized city in the Commonwealth does not have this going on.
Is this, and I'm sure, and I'm very excited about it. Is it going to what's it going to cost the city? Is there any cost involved?
Right now, there's not too much cost involved, okay? We're going to see, we may have to create some new positions on this, maybe some costs there. But it's up to us to do the zoning and identify parcels, so that we have some responsibility here. But it's not going to cost millions, tens of millions of dollars, Linda, I can promise you that.
There's no matching funds?
No, nothing like that. Nope. This is, from what the concept that I understand is that they're going to make ready available low-interest money for all these developments to occur. So instead of 10, 12% commercial, we may be talking in the single digits, 2, 3, and 4, which makes the project now feasible.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Again, the parameters will be worked out in Geneva, Switzerland, and again, I am beside myself. I just can't go. But I know my colleagues, I have all the confidence in the world in them, and they'll come back with the information, and they'll do the right thing, I know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think you need the entire council there.
No, they really don't, but they like to see, we want to show them a buy-in.
Yeah,
We went to Toronto, there were 7 of the 11, and they were impressed, and they want to see that, and we want to display that. But it's unfortunate, but just too close to my primary.
Yeah. Now, your primary is when?
September 9th.
That's not that far away.
No, me too. No, it's not. 4 weeks from yesterday.
And that's
But-
your, do you have, after the primary, then you'll just have one contender, right? Is that what we're doing?
Nope, there's 4 candidates, myself, 3 challenges in the primary on September 9th. 2 will advance,
Okay.
the top 2 advance to the general in November. But you only get 1 vote. I was saying, that went down to the election, I was surprised myself that 2 advance, I thought you got 2 votes. And a lot of people did. But no, you only get in the primary, 1 vote.
You get to select one
1 vote.
out of
Yep.
the 4.
Yep.
Okay, well, no, that makes sense to me, actually.
Yep. The general election for the at-large, you get 3, remember the old system, you used to get 9 votes, all right? Up to 9
okay,
votes.
Now, is
Right,
there,
Ralph? Yeah.
okay, now, wait a minute, they're gonna have more than one. At large, there's a primary for at large?
No, not right.
No primary
No
for
primary.
large.
No challenge.
So we're going to have elections only in Belvedere.
The Acre and the Highlands.
Are there more than 2 in the Highlands?
Yeah, I believe there's 3. Yep,
Wow.
yep.
So who doesn't have, Kim Scott has 1, right? She just
Yep.
has 1 person.
Kim's trying to get that person off the ballot.
Well, signatures, people belittle signatures. I like signatures, and I think that you shouldn't need to get signatures, and I think you should need to get them in your district personally. I mean, if you're running in Belvedere,
That's where I got most of mine.
that's who you're going to be representing. To sit there
Yeah.
and say, oh, no, I can get them here, there.
Yeah, it's citywide, you can, yep, should be ready to
So-
vote and roll.
And if you can't get signatures, and I've said, it's a small amount.
Yep.
And maybe this person, yeah.
It used to be 50.
If
We
you
changed
can't
it.
get 150
How many is it
signatures in
now?
your district,
150.
who are you going
Wow.
to be representing? I mean, can't you find 150 people that?
Linda, if you've done it, I've done it, got signatures for people, I find it easy. Some people, they find it impossible.
Why?
They
I
just
mean,
know-
they want to represent these people, go out and reach out to them. You go door to door, I'm sorry.
Door to door, I filled up 2
That's the
sheets that way, got the
bottom line.
voters list, went
Pick
door
a
to door.
flat area and work it.
Well, it's too
Yeah.
late for signatures now, and right now, yesterday I went to a public hearing at the Election Commission, and Sherry Barboza versus Kim Scott. And Kim Scott's trying to get Kerry Barboza off the ballot. Kerry Barboza has 151 signatures.
Oh, my.
Wow,
Oh, that's a no-brainer.
that's
to me.
for, you cut it close.
Well,
You do better than that.
first timer, you get experience.
Yep.
Paul Rathayem, God bless him, he ran a sticker campaign first time.
Yeah.
Because of a little glitch at the election department wouldn't put him on the ballot. It's a live and learn thing with Paul Rathayem. But I went to the hearing, and a lot of information was exchanged. Embarrassing thing happened. This gal get up at the end of the meeting, towards the end of the meeting, and the meeting had not ended yet. She had her hand up. She wanted to speak. She's standing at the podium, and the lawyer for the city wouldn't let her speak. And last time I checked, the chairman's in charge of the meeting, not the lawyer. And the lawyer shut this woman down, wouldn't let her speak. And I just, in a very rude fashion, my take is just sitting there. He could have did a lot more gently and explained to the little audience that we had there, it wasn't on television. But the lawyer just shut her down. Can't speak, end the meeting, bam! It's not his job to end the meeting. I think it's the chair's job to end the meeting.
No, and it doesn't look
Interesting.
good for disclosure and things. That's just.
Well,
But
what's-
signatures, that.
I mean, you get all dolled up, you go to a freaking meeting, you go up to the podium to speak, and they go, you can't speak here.
Was the process, already opened and closed for the public comment?
I didn't hear them ask for any public comment.
Okay.
I showed up a few minutes late,
Usually open
But
the hearing up
nonetheless-
for public comment.
but nonetheless, Corey, watching other meetings that I'm involved with, somebody shows up to speak, I let them speak.
Absolutely. No doubt
What's
about it.
the harm?
I've never been on a committee that didn't let people speak.
But bureaucrat, lawyer,
As long as you're on on the issue. I mean, you can't be talking about taxes at conservation, and it's very easy for people to slip into planning issues as opposed to conservation. There are only certain things we can do.
John, was that meeting videotaped, or a lot of the
No, there were
public hearings are
There were
videotaped?
it was in City Hall chambers,
Yeah.
City Council
And
chambers.
the clerk, isn't
Oh.
it? Is the clerk's office? Must be the clerk's office that, on signatures.
City clerk was sitting up the balcony. I saw him up.
Who's in charge of signatures? It shouldn't have been the clerk.
Election Commission.
The election commission was there.
But the clerk,
Yeah.
so she wasn't actually, okay. So the election commission is there.
The election commission had this hearing,
Yes, they should.
and with the two gals running for that seat, and they duked it out. They asked questions, answered questions, and
Now, did they explain the next procedure that it goes to Secretary of State?
no, what's going to happen is the one lawyer that was there, she did a fabulous job, and she said, "We just got this information yesterday. I need some time to study this, and we needed time to bring in the two people that she's objecting to sign, to bring those people down to the meeting and say, yeah, I signed." And I guess that's how this procedure's supposed to go. So they're going to have a meeting, I think, on the 20th.
Now, of course, it's been a while since I've had to get a signatures, but now, you used to be able to sign, you could only, if there are two people running, and you can only sign one person's papers.
No, it's a thing where my takeaway from the meeting, I just sat there in a chair, and I sat next to Will, I think Rosenberg's his name, the
Yep.
guy, nice, very easy to talk to guy. Ask him any question. I like the guy. And so I just sat, and we were like side chatting quietly during the meeting. And my takeaway was Tim Scott is saying these two people signed, and they should not have been accepted by the election commission
Not registered?
because they had a post office box.
Oh, on the signature sheet, okay.
Oh,
And
there.
but the post office box person writes a post office box because they're in like some protective thing where
That's
they
right.
have an
Oh, okay.
estranged spouse that's changed. This is my imagination.
Oh,
No.
okay.
But
That's
you have
it.
some woman who's getting beat up by her husband, and if you put her address out there publicly, the husband's going to know where to go on Saturday night.
It isn't on their license or anything.
So so that was brought up, and so it was an interesting. I had never been to one
That is
before.
very interesting.
But no live cameras, Ralph. Sorry, cameras.
So
they
it
have-
wasn't well, that's interesting.
Well, you had John McDonough there, that's like a live camera.
That's good enough.
One point I'd like to get clear, maybe Mr. Belanger could enlighten me, or John. In a district election, do you get to take only signatures from your district?
Any Tom, Dick,
No.
or Mary who's registered to vote in the city of Lowell, if I'm running right here, I can go over to Pawtucketville's, Demoulas's, and get all the signatures I want.
And they all count?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Correct.
Anyone in the city?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
They
I
have-
find
no,
that
So
Have
I'm
you
in the
registered?
Highlands. I can
Yep.
take,
Registered, you gotta be
Yep.
registered to vote in the city.
in the city.
that's
That's
it?
all.
Wow.
And
Yep.
see, what's happening now, they're saying that, okay, well, if you don't send this paper back, you're not gonna be registered to vote anymore. You know that stuff you get in the
Yeah,
mail from?
yeah.
And so I don't know if that's what disqualifies some signatures.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't find out that I'm not registered to vote until I show up at the polling place.
Yes.
Yes and no. I mean, you get a notice that people don't take their census seriously. You really should take the census seriously. That's the city's documentation that you're still there and you haven't
Well,
moved.
Linda, for a
That would appear-
bazillion years, Linda, I didn't do the census because I got two sons, and I didn't want them going off to some silly war in the Middle East. So I didn't fill out the census for 20 years. Throw it away.
Really?
McD?
Yeah.
I'm
And you think
surprised
that
you-
made a difference? They had to register for the draft.
I don't know that they did.
Oh,
What's the penalty for not registering?
I don't know after.
I don't
the
know,
time
but-
we
but
all-
my
I don't
fear
even
was-
know if you have to still.
My fear was I was going to lose my sons to a crazy war in the Middle
Yeah.
East fighting over oil. And I just not my cup of tea. If you want to join the Air Force, go join the Air Force, the Army, Marines if you want to join. But drafting, no, I don't think so. Not to fight for oil in the Middle East. That's just my takeaway.
No,
It's not a bad position.
Yes, we lost our whole generation, the cream of the crop. They all either went and got killed or injured or came back
All
very
those
damaged.
kids we lost in Vietnam.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
For what?
Well, we did
Yeah.
it again in Afghanistan. We did it again. It isn't just
Well,
Vietnam.
what was
we
the
just
number?
did it again.
What was the number of loss of life in Vietnam?
Huge.
I'll ask Google.
60,000.
Okay.
It was
What's,
just a,
and fentanyl takes 100-something thousand a year.
wow. Whoa, that's an interesting figure.
In a 10-year war, we lost 60,000. Not that I'm not trying to diminish that number
Wow.
by any stretch. I'm just putting things in perspective, what drugs have done to us and why we're still playing games.
What Washington has done with
Yeah.
that fentanyl on the border is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They should hang their heads in shame. As a matter of fact, I got to tell you, Linda will bear this out. Over the years, I've really been a Democrat, and we've been to how many conventions?
Yeah.
I really question where they're going.
Well, I questioned that a long time ago. I'm
They've taken a
registered
sharp left, Ralph.
Oh, it's awful.
The party
Oh,
left
right,
you,
yeah.
Ralph. You
Oh,
didn't
right,
leave
yeah.
the party, it left you.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But the fentanyl issue, there's no excuse for
Shouldn't even
that.
be political.
Well, my
Shouldn't be
big
political.
issue now is Title IX. Fought all my life for Title IX for women.
I remember going to,
Excuse me, and now
Yes.
they're going to say, oh, that doesn't, we're going
In
to throw you under the
college.
bus. And where are the women? I don't understand the women that were all fighting, I spoke for ERA, except now, we never passed nationally the Equal Rights Amendment. Now, I don't know if you're aware of that. And one of the main states that you have to get a certain percentage, Massachusetts did not, the big liberal state,
Yeah.
did not vote for ERA.
but you're right, years ago,
Massachusetts, everybody says they're so liberal, we're so open-minded, but we didn't want equal rights for women. How bizarre is that?
What year was
I
that?
don't have an
Preach to me
answer.
Yeah.
how open-minded you are in Massachusetts.
but you raise an interesting point about, when we were younger, we fought for Title IX. I remember going to protest, all that stuff, UMass.
Just backing the bus up a little bit here for this text, and it says, I would check with the clerk's office or who is conducting the signature challenge for their established rules and procedures regarding public input at meetings. Thank you. And that's Jeannie Balkers. And continuing, in Massachusetts, you cannot sign nomination papers using a P.O. box address. I would agree with you, but if my spouse is looking to murder me on a Saturday night, I don't think I have to put my
Yes, and
address down.
let's just say in the case of domestic violence, is there an exclusion, right? Yeah. That's by and large,
would
she's
be-
right, but I don't know.
It deserves a good question. Maybe I'll call my.
No,
The
it's a very good-
Secretary of State, Greg Pappas would know.
Oh, Greggy,
Yep,
Greg would know.
Greg would know.
he sure
I think
would.
so.
It's an encyclopedia.
I'm still sort of stuck on, I'm in the Highlands. I take Mr. Belanger's signatures. I go to all my neighbors. I get, whatever, what's the requirement?
150.
100.
I get 150 signatures up in the Highlands. And I take them back and I give them to Corey.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
takes them to City Hall and
Yep.
okay, now I'm gonna take the other side of this. If I'm the opponent and I wanna make a mountain out of a molehill, I'd say, Mr. Belanger, why did you have so many signatures from out of the district?
I assure you,
You know,
They
you
kicked
know what
him
I mean? It
out.
would be
No, no,
a
I
point
get that, yeah.
of debate.
I got that. I assure you that's not the case in my,
I
but,
I
right,
know,
right.
but you
But,
know-
yes, no, I see
It
your point.
doesn't make
yeah.
sense what the system is
And
allowing.
But Ralph, what I would say to you is, I got a lot of friends that are helping me get signatures. And
So,
obviously, this person lived in the Highlands, got a lot of signatures from the Highlands, so I'm glad to know I have a lot of support in the Highlands.
all
that
I'm
would be
saying
my
is I should
pushback on
think
you.
that you
Well-
would have signatures from your district. If you're running citywide, then you should have
Yeah.
citywide signatures.
But when they
Right.
changed the form of government, they didn't catch up with
screwed
it.
things up.
They
But
haven't
Ralph,
caught up with
if
it
you
yet.
can only imagine, there you are, you're trying to get signatures. Now, using your hypothetical rule that you gotta live in my district. Say, good morning, sir.
I'd be fine with it.
Where do you live? They're leaving. Take a hike back. Bye.
Right. I'd be fine with it.
That's why you go door to door.
Yeah, right.
I like the way we have it. I don't think you should have any signatures to run.
Just go, put your name on the ballot.
Go down there, register to vote. I'm running for a dog catcher. Okay. Put your name on the ballot, and if the radio station, if Marty Laurie has a debate, great. If he doesn't, that's great too. But you see my name as a dog catcher. Got Linda wants to be, Ralph wants to be dog catcher, Corey does, McDonough does. Vote for whoever you want. This signature malarkey, I just don't think it's worth the paper it's written on. I know it's the law, but that's my take. Makes it a lot harder.
There's a
to run
whole
around.
division of elections in Boston, Secretary of State's office,
Oh, yes.
and they create jobs.
Like
Yeah.
Desi.
Oh, that's the worst. They create jobs.
Well, anyway, that's an interesting, it's interesting that
Well, but the whole thing stuck in my
I've seen
craw.
signatures thrown out, but
The whole thing stuck in my craw is the lawyer wouldn't let the citizens speak. And we, the people, are angry at that. Me representing the we, the people. It just sounds better.
Well, if it was a public hearing, they should have had an opportunity to speak. But there's a period where the input is open, the chair will open it and then close it. If this individual tried to speak after the fact,
then you
he can
that's
be
right.
shut out. He or
I
she can
know
be shut
what-
out.
That was not aired. You were just refused.
okay, I
That
wasn't
wasn't
there,
put
McKee, I'll
over,
go by.
put into my ear by anybody.
Well, you
So we
need
can
to-
turn the page on that. Stuck in my craw.
Well, but on the other hand, I suppose, if you want to speak at the city council, don't you have to register ahead of time?
Yes.
Yeah, but,
Public hearing, no.
but
Speak on a motion, yes.
Corey, I've seen times when somebody shows up late and they
Yep.
want to speak, and the councilor says, I'm,
Yeah, we
Mr.
make a motion to
Mr.
suspend the rules.
McDonough just got here, can we suspend the rules and
Sure.
let him talk?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody gets shut out at City Hall, McD.
Nobody gets, well,
No,
at
sirree.
city council meeting, you don't get shut
That's-
out.
that's correct.
But at these other little dinky meetings that they
Now,
have.
don't
you
be calling out
I was on the
committees
zoning board of
dinky
appeals for 10
meetings.
years. Never,
Don't
not
be
so much as once.
Well, the chair should have spoke up and say, excuse me, Mr. Lawyer,
Yes.
I'm in charge of this meeting.
Well, see, Beverly's not there now, so.
It was funny
It's
how
all- It's all gone amok, right?
Beverly's texted me. I sent her a picture, look at Beverly, I'm at your old meeting, and she said, there's a guy named Sam that's on the meeting. She said, say hello to Sam for me, so I said hello to Sam.
Yeah.
It was a nice meeting, I just didn't like the fact that he didn't let the woman talk.
Well, I don't like the fact that it was the attorney and not the chairman. If that just says to me, there's something awry there because the chairman runs your meeting.
Well, in Lowell, there's a city manager that asked Cliff, can you take direction? And when Cliff says, not quoting Cliff, Cliff told the manager, I'm not taking direction from you. I'm my own person. And then the manager said, okay, you're not going to be the chair.
What does that mean, can you take direction?
Can I tell you what to do?
On what committee?
Alcoholic.
He's on the license.
He's on a license commission.
Yeah.
Please,
And see,
Linda,
yeah.
don't be
Linda,
so...
Linda, the people who sit on committees in Lowell
no.
are afraid they're not going to get reappointed by the reappointing authority. It's terrible.
Well, I know it. I've been there too with those situations.
Can you line the mic up with your mouth there?
But I know, I understand
Just
that.
wag a little bit. There you go. Beautiful.
Political situations, but I to be so blatantly to say, can you take direction? I don't know what that meant. I mean, just do exactly. I can't imagine asking anybody on a committee, being appointed to a committee, will you do
boards,
what I tell you? I mean, that's bizarre.
No, I'm sure that the manager was referring to his military background, following the chain of command. I'm sure it was a simple...
Yeah, why wasn't he chairman then?
That's just, I don't.
Didn't have the
Question,
right
does he have the
That's an
seniority out of all the other board
Yes.
members? I don't know, yeah.
Oh,
Yep. He has the seniority now, and they're still not going to make him chairman. The current guy.
Well, had Cliff
The
Krieger
golden
called, had Cliff Krieger called his district councilor, Corey Belanger, perhaps I would have put in a been more than happy
Yeah,
to put in a
that's
reference for.
interesting.
I can't tell the manager what to do. I could refer and say,
You
please
certainly
consider.
have his
but-
ear, though. You certainly have his ear.
I do, and
So
as we
if I
all
move
do.
the Belvedere, I have a shot at being chairman?
well, I would recommend you, Ralph. It would come down to
Well,
the manager
Cliff
again.
is one of his,
I'd stick my neck out for you too,
he
pal.
does live in this district.
Yeah.
So, and he's got quite a background. Cliff is a very
So,
interesting.
John, if we could for a moment, could we go back to the town meetings? I find that a very, very interesting format for these councilors to go to the constituent and find out what's going on, find out what is
Oh, I
ticking.
think that was a wonderful thing.
Well,
What
who- why-
issues, you know,
Yeah, let me
that you were
just,
surprised at that came out in this town meeting?
Let me just put what Sherry Barbosa, she was one of the gals, she's
Okay.
running against Kim Scott, and this is what she sends us this morning. The P.O. Box argument is insane because they know where they live, and it's in Lowell.
Well, they're not supposed to know where they live. That's the whole thing, but having
But
a
it's they
PO.
are a Lowellian, and any Lowellian can sign, and they register to vote. Okay, page 2, the whole hearing was a farce. And I found it, I never went to one before, I found it, thank you, Sherry, appreciate it, thank you, and good luck with your,
That's interesting, but
Contentment.
a word of advice, I think she learned a hard lesson that, yes, the minimum's 150, but you gotta go over that by at least 25.
well, like I said,
10%.
Paul Raffi, he ran on a sticker
Yeah,
campaign.
I know. How'd that go, though? You know?
Lost.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
nobody pulled him aside, hey, Paul, you don't have a prayer, man, they're not gonna do your stickers. Don't waste your summer.
Yep.
So is anybody else running against, who's the incumbent?
Kim Scott.
Okay, is anybody else running against Kim Scott?
No, just this woman.
So if this person doesn't make the cut with the signatures, she's running unopposed.
Yeah, I don't know who's advising this one, the first time out.
Well,
Somebody should have,
well, it's likely the woman in the mirror is given direction here, and, I mean, okay.
I mean, don't you look it up and say, well, you need 150, you don't get 151.
Well, Corey, you probably had 250 you put
I
in.
had 175.
Okay, 175.
But as you get into this, you know who the signatures are.
Well,
You know
how
if
many
they're
got
good.
rejected?
With nearly 100% approval rate. I mean,
Okay, good.
I ended up 50 signatures, 48, 49, because I know the registered voters. I said, please sign legibly. I made it clear that they need to be able to read it, but that's
That's
experience for you, right? Which is one of my platforms, Linda.
Yeah, that's.
Experience, but Ralph, thanks again for bringing up the,
Town meeting.
yeah, thank you. That went very, very well. Some of my supporters said, you ought to have one. It hasn't been done, and so it was held at the Riley School early June. I had about 75 people there. It was pretty well
That's
attended. It was
impressive.
I did a mailer, and so it was a radio ad, and worked out very, very well. And then I got emails, about 10, 12 emails on top of it of people who couldn't go, who sent me concerns. But Ralph, it was not, usually walk in these things, you expect the unexpected, but it was much of the norm. It was all neighborhood issues, why I'm here, why I wanted to connect with them, be accessible, be ready, available for them for just about anything that may arise, and what affects them the most. I mean, I grew up I'm the only candidate born and raised in Belvedere, grew up, went to the Riley School, the Moody, and Lowell High. I know the inside and out, and that allows me to have a very good, vast knowledge of the streets. When they mention this corner, I know it well. Rather than having to,
Yeah.
so very, very familiar with every block and every corner within the district, and so it was, the things you would expect,
What was the most interesting issue raised by the constituents?
I would say the most common, I'll start with the most common, was the speeding in the, the speeding in the districts on the many of the cut-throughs, if you will.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the most common. The most interesting was some improvement on parks, some good ideas on parks and open space, because Belvedere, we have 3 to 4 times the open space than any other district. Just Shed Park with the lines with Fort Hill, the Pine Street School, that park, we're talking 85 acres in the middle of the city. So that itself dwarfs any other district number, not to mention Veterans Park and everything else, Stratham Park, across from Bob Hoey's house. all along the city. So we have a disproportionate amount of green space in the district. And I have some good ideas there what to do, and I did walkthroughs with many of my constituents, what they're seeing, to get the ideas, know what they're talking about, and propose them submitted a report to the TPW Commission. That's going to take some time now, But some great ideas, great input, and they can, that's going to be a yearly event if I'm reelected, I can tell you that.
Now, the speeding, did the posting of 25-mile-an-hour speed limit work at all?
No, but you see a lot of them in my district. You see a good
Yeah,
amount.
I know.
Yeah, and it's good. Look, it's good to have them. I'm not saying it wasn't worth the shot. It was, but it really didn't do all that much. So what we need to do, what I've gotten done, within the district on speeding, because I heard so much of it. Not only that, I've been campaigning in that neighborhood for well over 10, 15 years myself. And so I know the cut-throughs, and these people have been screaming about the speeding. And to this point, I've gotten those speed humps, that we're seeing about on Fairmount Street, a cut-through to avoid the traffic on Nesmith.
Yeah.
So I got speed humps here. Those residents are absolutely ecstatic. They've been talking about it for years, okay? I'm getting it done. Wentworth Ave, in the fall, we're going to be doing some localized paving of approximate couple 40 to 50-yard strips with permanent speed humps on Wentworth Ave.
Oh, wow.
Douglas Road, we just paved that. We push along with my constituent base down there. We're getting permanent speed humps there, now that that's being paved. Same goes for Draper Street, which is a cut-through off Andover to get to the Sullivan School and behind the Riley.
Yeah.
So I got permanent speed humps there. So I've got together in 4 streets, I got traffic calming measures done
That's
far,
huge.
with more to come for next year. Clark Road, East Merrimack Street, you're next. So
Okay,
working on other
that's what I asked
way
about
city.
East- And River, is it? Riverside?
Rivercliff to East Merrimack, yes. Big
That
cut through.
is-
That's where I grew up on East Merrimack Street.
Yeah.
Know it very well. And this is just over 12 months, Linda.
Yeah.
What I've gotten done, what these people
And
have
that seems
been
much more
screaming
effective than
for,
the signs.
I've gotten done in just over. So give me a full term or 2, and you will see what I can do.
Yeah.
You will see visible, tangible results in the district. You're already seeing it. So as the traffic calming big issues, you can check that box. I'm getting things done in that department for sure. While other streets, again, are being looked at for 2026 season. Along East Merrimack Street, Gina Lane, River Road, along the Merrimack River, the treatment facility that was discussed, me walking in the door, the odor issues, that affect Centerville. I partnered with Councilor Robinson, that emissions from that processing plant. We're doing upgrades there. Okay, we're upgrading the machines that process the sludge. I wish there was a more articulate terminology to use. That's going on as we speak. So by next spring, you will see, odor control will be far less than what you're experiencing right now on those corridors, both sides of the river.
If they accomplish that, because that's been going on for years.
Absolutely, it's going to process the
Since it
sludge
was built.
faster. Yeah, these are up-to-date machines. Instead of one big one, it's going to be 3 different ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to process the sludge faster. They're therefore not letting it sit and fester, creating odor. So this will process the sludge on a much faster rate, resulting in less odor. So, I was just a River Road Saturday over the weekend, and those residents are very happy to hear that.
Hoey, can you speak to capacity? How much capacity do we have up there? We at 100% or?
With these upgrades, there has been no issue. I talked to Aaron Fox, the commissioner. But they said there was no mention of getting at or near capacity, even with servicing the outlying communities, McD.
That's good news.
Like we do, which we turn a little money on, which we need, okay? So, yes, there's charges, accompanied with.
Well, we should make a profit.
Of course.
We should make a profit.
You bet we should, yes.
But I'm just happy to know that capacity's.
Yes, there was no mention of it, and I think
Beautiful.
Aaron, yep. In these capacities sit well for all that new development going back towards the front runner city, all this development. So the wastewater should not be an issue. I don't see our infrastructure posing a threat in any of this development. I really don't.
So big project up on Douglas Road. Front page, Lowell Sun. My friend Lynn Daly's on the front page.
Yep, well, she's done a lot, yep.
And So what's going on up here on Douglas Road? by
That
College
is an
Memorial Day?
overflow sewer tank at Colley Stadium lot, approximately 2 million gallons. Because Douglas Road, the elevation, it all runs down from Andover Street. It just runs down on the bottom of Douglas Road, in front of the Janus rink in that vicinity. It
Yep.
just pulls and gets out of control, where a vehicle would stall going through it. So that's been going on for years. So this is one of the biggest ARPA expenditures in the city. About a $13 million project right here. That's going to help the stormwater overflow. This tank will fill up and relieve the sewer system, and then once the sewer system gets back, subsides, gets back down to normal levels, the overflow tank will release into the sewer system, into the wastewater system. So causing less flooding issues. These people really have gone through hell the last couple of years, and like decades, I should say. It's not
At the end
just
of the
years.
day, to your knowledge, will we have new hot top on Colley's parking
Yep,
lot?
Colley's, Douglas Road is being paved right now as we speak from Andover to Gershom Terrace, which is the Janus Rink entrance. It's stopping there because of that project. With the vehicles coming in and out, it's just not feasible. That's approximately an 18-month project, so it won't be until 2027 where we pave the rest of Douglas Road to Rogers Street from Colley Stadium, as well as paving the whole stadium parking lot, putting islands and trees, because it's been a raceway. A lot of kids at night, I get complaints from my constituents at night, the drinking and the running and the racing for young kids. So we're going to put islands and trees and stripe parking, stripe the whole lot, as well as pave and make including sidewalks all the way up to Rogers Street as well. So a lot's going on in the district, including this project, which again offers great relief for those residents at the end of Douglas Road and Wynwood Street. So very happy for them to get that done. But it's a very
Major undertaking.
major, yep.
Who did the calculations for that tank?
All engineers, yep. Better minds than mine, Ralph. So, I mean, just goes to show you, I mean, the speed humps, the Douglas Road, and not only that, I was able to get sidewalk. We pushed sidewalks along, because I'm saying, okay, we're putting $1 million in the Riley School playground. Another ARPA expenditure, right? It's going to be fabulous, okay? We're making upgrades at Colley Stadium. We're paving the whole road. We're not going to put in sidewalks to connect. I see families walking up and down on Douglas
Yeah.
Road, taking their life in their hands.
Yeah, that's
So we
a good
got
point.
sidewalks.
That's a
So
very good
not only
point.
that, concrete sidewalks, where we all,
Wait a minute. We have asphalt up on the Highlands. What's the deal with the concrete?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Belvedere,
Ralph.
man, come on, give us a break.
Well, we all mobilized, if you will my constituents. We got a door to door on a petition. So we got concrete sidewalks from Andover Street all the way to Colley Stadium to connect Colley Stadium, the Riley School, to Andover Street. Now all walkable.
And it is
Very
a
exciting.
walking area.
That's a good feat.
That's very good.
You're right. Very proud of that.
Let me ask you three folks this question. And my solution is simple, but these kiddos out on their bicycles, doing wheelies in the middle of the street,
Yep.
whether it's Mammoth Road, whether it's out in Tewksbury, I couldn't care less where it is. These kiddos, they lack wisdom.
I see them. How
They
about
lack wisdom.
You can throw respect in there too, but go
My
ahead.
solution to the whole thing is, you take a good picture of them, you put it on the town's website, and ask this person to call the city manager, we need to talk. That's my solution to the problem. Because you can't chase these kids, they're gonna go in an alley, and the cops have better things. But I say you take a vivid picture of them, doing a wheelie on Gorham Street, on their electric bike or their pedal bike. That's my solution. So, Corey, starting with you, what's your solution to the problem? Because
Well-
it is growing.
Yes, kids on bikes, and it's the motorized
Motorized
too,
bikes.
that are a pain in the neck. They're loud, they're illegal, they're not street legal. So we just had a crackdown, if you will, by local and state officials in late June, early July,
Yeah.
where they confiscated about 25, 30 bikes,
Well, that'll do it.
and a couple ATVs, four-wheelers, and a couple and a handful or two of motorized mopeds, if you will, whatever it is. So, so that really helped out. But that needs to be more frequent and consistent. For instance, the folk festival, we have that, the cops, you cannot, you have to walk your bike in the festival. Downtown should be, during prime time, you should not be able to bike on sidewalks,
I
period.
agree.
So,
Why do
these
we have
kids.
bike lanes?
Look I like seeing kids on bikes, that's how I got around the city as a kid, myself. But I wasn't
But you weren't doing a
disrespectful at the
wheelie
same
on
time.
Gorham.
No, I wasn't, right.
So Ralph, what's your solution? These kids on bikes, you got a solution?
Confiscation would work, or at least get their parents, there's no parent in America that wants their kid doing wheelies in the middle of downtown Lowell with traffic and everything else. It's crazy. I've seen it, but
Yep.
it's nuts.
So confiscation. So Linda, you got any
Yep.
solution for this?
Well, parents, somebody buys these bikes for them,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Confiscation. You need to go to because it worked. We calm things down, it doesn't eradicate it, but you do it, quarterly, crack down, I think it's gonna make a huge difference.
Beautiful.
So we appreciate
Thank you.
our state partners on that.
Has the city been approached there's a grant out there to put booms in the river to collect the trash that comes down?
Booms?
Booms,
Interesting.
well, they brought it to Kingsborough last night, and I had a lot of questions, and they weren't real happy that I
Well,
did.
it brings
but-
to mind Bud Caulfield. When Bud was the mayor, he goes over to the Merrimack River on the O'Donnell Bridge, and there's a crane that's picking up all the junk that's going to go into the canal. It stops, there's a big pile of junk there. And the crane's picking it up and extending itself and just dropping it in the river, not collecting it. So Bud walks up to the crane driver and says, "Hey, buddy, you can't be doing that." So what the guy did was, he waved at Bud with one finger and he closed the crane door and continued to do the job. So Bud, the then mayor, as you can imagine, that really ticked him up because they just got ignored by the crane driver. And the crane driver knew what he was doing was wrong, but nonetheless, you do what your boss tells you to do. And now that company has to have a dumpster. They have to pick it up and put it into a dumpster. They can't just dump it into the river. And that's thanks to Bud Caulfield. And Linda's right, there's so much junk in the river.
Yep.
Put booms across to collect the stuff. And the booms are a good idea, Linda, but how often are we going to service them, and how will they be serviced?
Well, what they said last night was that it's a grant, it's one of these lovely little grants that the state has contracted. They have a company that's going to come in and install.
We have one of our friends already hired, yes.
Yes, absolutely. We have no say on who it is.
No, but
And
but
they're
he's
going to
our
come, and
friend. He's a
they're
good
going
guy.
to put 3 of them, 2, possibly 3 in Kingsborough. And they're going to extend, and then the town is going to be responsible for maintaining them, removing them, storing them.
How do the boaters feel about
And
it?
I said to them, I don't know. I said last night, well, okay, what do we do with this trash? And they said, well, we just take it. I said, take it where? Who? I mean, who? Republic? Is Republic have a contract to take the trash away? Does the DPW have to do this? Who?
I just have it like they do in Lowell. I put it like the Lowell Canal Company, whatever they're called. You get a dumpster.
I get it, John, but this is some ridiculous grant from somewhere, and then they're going to throw this out there, and then the community is responsible for it. They said, well, Andover's doing it, and they're very successful. And supposedly Lawrence, Havel, and Methuen are going to be doing it. All right, what about New Hampshire? Are we going to collect all their trash coming down the river?
Live free or die.
Yeah, everyone needs to buy in, Linda, that's the thing. You need,
But what about the what about the
That's right, the
motorboats?
boat, that
The
came up.
motorboats.
Yeah.
The kayakians. I mean, how do they navigate the river with these booms?
Well, the jet skiers are going to destroy.
Interesting point.
yeah.
I've been on that river kayaking.
Yeah.
How do you get by these,
That's right. It was a big
Devices.
Oh, well, they're not going to be that intrusive. They're not going to go across the whole river. They're picking specific areas.
It's got to be
okay.
anchored on both sides, Linda.
Yeah, John, they looked at me like I was just out to lunch. And
Well,
when
Well, she
government comes up with an idea, it's always correct.
So
Yep,
we
well,
need to get
thank you for
some
that information, Linda.
I'm-
I didn't hear
I
anything.
think it's a wonderful idea, and I voted
Yeah.
to yes, but there's a lot of questions we want answered first.
Yep.
Like,
I didn't know anything about this.
where do we do? And again, if Tingsboro's gonna do it, and Andover's gonna do it, then what is Lowell? And I don't see how you can do it with the crew and the boating there.
Well, see, what you do, Linda, is
University.
you take all this trash and you truck it up to Nashua, and you dump it right in front of Nashua City Hall. We're giving you back your assets.
Well, I had to laugh. I said, really, let's be realistic about this. And I think our highway department is stressed enough, and the fire department. Now, we have a boat in Tingsboro that the fire department has, but I don't think in their contract and everything it says, And I just, if you're expecting conservation to go to the town meeting and justify this, give me some clues, the cost, and of course, there'll be an administrative cost.
maintenance
There's
cost,
always an administrative cost.
So Corey, before we get out of here, the manager just hired some energy guy. That was my takeaway from what I read in the paper.
You mean a parks consultant? Is that what you're referring to?
No, he's somebody in charge of energy, supposed to save money on energy. New position. If you
No, we-
can't know everything, I'm just asking.
No, well, last night we approved a new parks position, a consultant,
Oh, I remember that. That was a couple
Yeah.
of weeks ago.
for about 50 to 60.
After the election, I'm going to ask the city councilors to ask the city manager for a number, I don't want the names, a number of people who work for the city of Lowell who make over 100 grand a year. Because as I see it,
It's public record, McD.
I understand, it's a number. Well, tell me what it is then.
I don't know.
Okay, neither do I. So
All right,
that's why
yeah.
I'm asking.
Okay.
I know it's
Yeah.
public
No, be
record.
prepared
Public
now, it's
record.
coming.
Okay, give me the
All
number.
right, no, you got me. All right,
Okay,
I don't know,
so
yeah.
that's why I'm waiting for after election, because I see the
Are you
towns-
talking police, fire, and all that? You talking public
City
safety and everything, all
Even-
city in general? Okay,
Even
let's,
teachers.
teachers, okay, it's a hefty number.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody. And then I want to find out, why are we disassembling departments? We have the cemetery. We're downsizing the cemetery crew. We're going to get rid of the cemetery crew. We're going to outsource that. The other day, I'm driving up
Wait,
Roger
wait,
Street.
wait. More people dying or less people dying?
Ralph, you could stay the
I don't have
comedian-
that percentage either,
We'll
Ralph.
do the comedian stuff after the show. But I see guys who work really hard getting screwed out of a pension. The city's going to outsource the grave digging duties to an outside company that's not going to give their people pensions. I just see the city screwing the little guy. This is for after election. And lastly, we just bought, within the last 5 years, an expensive sewer sucking machine, big gigantic truck that sucks the sewer.
Yep.
So a private company sucking the sewer on Roger Street. Why are we outsourcing those jobs? So these are all questions I have for the city councilors after why are we getting rid of, we'll keep the administrators, the $100,000 a year, but the guys who are making 30, 40, and 50,000, we'll get rid of them. But I'll talk about this.
No,
after.
no, right. Unfortunately, there's circumstances we have to outsource, McD. I don't like it either. In some cases, not all, workers don't want to do the overtime. We don't have a choice, which is disturbing to me.
Well, there's the interesting,
I'm
is
not
that the
saying
choice
that
with the
applies to that situation you're
cemetery?
talking about, but in some cases, there are problems and, so we're trying to change that culture with proper certifications for employees and, and stipends and create initiative for them to do the work. So we don't have to, I have nothing against third-party contractors. I'd rather see our workers work overtime and get a higher
Yeah,
wage
I
myself.
agree with that.
That's my philosophy.
When you start outsourcing,
But there's always something to it,
it's always
McD, but we'll be glad to look into that for you.
After the election.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
not gonna create any trouble right now.
Be glad to do a deep dive,
Thank you. And you always
Well,
have.
yeah,
always. Huh.
That's the first I heard, because you would know about the cemetery workers being outsourced.
Well, now, what
That's crazy.
the latest little screw-up is, the cemetery office is closed on Friday. Now, that means, Ralph, should you decide to head off to heaven, and you want to go to the city cemetery, we can't call them on Friday. They
Well,
have,
you know, I sort of like that idea.
We have a-
if
we have
I
a
can't
40
go on a Friday.
we have a 48, they have a 48-hour stupid rule, 48-hour rule to dig a grave. So when we call on Monday, your funeral can be Wednesday morning.
So,
That's welcome to Lowell.
yeah.
This is after election banter.
So it
Right.
is sort of, the other thing I noticed, John, on a Monday, nobody dies. When you look at the Lowell Sun obituary page, nobody goes on a Monday. So if you could get Friday and Monday,
That has to
that's
do
not a
with-
bad deal.
That's electronic deadlines.
Oh, really?
Gotcha.
Electronic deadlines. Jeannie Bogus is kind enough to send us a lot of text about elections, and I will process this after the show. Thank you, Jeannie.
Yeah, thank you.
Sending us this information. And I'll take a peek.
Oh, my, okay.
Jeannie's
Well,
busy, she's a
time
smart
is-
cookie.
Yes,
Well,
time is winding down. Did that go quick?
election, yeah.
Well, I'd like to
Yeah,
say
do
thank
your
you to everybody.
elevator
Thank you to
speech.
the viewers at home for watching, and to the Belvedere voting electorate. I ask you to vote for Corey Belanger on September 9th, based on I highlighted all the accomplishments that are going on in the district. I am running on experience, accomplishments, and momentum that we have in the district, and we're going to need it going forward. I mean, there's very exciting times ahead in Lowell, but there are also challenging times, and we're going to need experience to navigate us forward. And I don't think Belvedere can ill afford any lapse in coverage with the momentum that we have going on right now. A lot of great stuff, a lot more to come, the initiatives that I'm working on very closely, and it's better days are ahead in the district, and we'll always count on your input, such as my input sessions, my town halls. I will always be leaning on you, the residents, for ideas and input, and I am a messenger for you. So in closing, I would ask for your vote on Tuesday, September 9th. Thank you very much.
Tomorrow, City Life, we're going to have Evelyn Thorne's the host, Bobby Hoey still in rehab, going in a good direction. John Moses will be here at 7, and Sam Chase will be here for the show. Time is short, Linda. Thanks.
And wishing Bob Hoey a full and speedy recovery. And it was good to hear that good update as I walked in the door.
Thank you.
He'll be back soon, I hope.
I hope.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yeah. So, well, I wish you well, Corey. I like
Thank
the
you, Lynn. I
idea
feel
that you've
good.
gotten the speed bumps
Yep,
in those
4
country
streets in less than
That's
12 months.
impressive.
That's, yeah, and
I
more
don't
to
know how
come,
many
yeah.
there are in the city. I
Right,
don't
yeah.
seem to have run into them in other, do you have them in the Highlands?
We have a couple, but Belvedere has a plethora because, you know, there's activity over there and people
And they do
are
want to cut through,
engaged.
they want to get to.
That's what engagement does, yeah.
We
you
don't
know.
go through the Highlands to get to 495 or Route 3, really.
Well, Stevens Street, yeah, Stevens Street,
Yeah.
but, you know,
That would be
we
a
got
tough
Route 30,
one.
we got
Right.
issues, but I've got a great handle on things. Not only that, on citywide too. And so, experience leadership, I have it, we need it,
Well,
not only in Belvedere, but the citywide as well.
do you have things going on in your park?
Say
Shared
goodbye,
park?
kids.
Oh, I gotta say
Oh,
goodbye.
okay.
Can't do it.
Have a good
Next
day,
time.
have a good week.
Thanks for
Enjoy this
watching.
beautiful day.
Stay cool, be
everybody.
careful in the heat, please.
Thank you for watching.
Leave your air conditioner on. Don't give it a rest. Thanks.